You will never get a cheap Miata again. The used car market, specifically for fun project cars like Miatas, has gone absolutely crazy. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some used Miatas in my area so you can see what the prices are going for. And then we're also going to take a look at the top of the market at some very, very nice cars. About a year ago, I made a video very similar to this one where we were taking a look at used Miata prices in my area. At that time, most cars were going for 5 to 7 times what I paid for this thing 7 years ago. In that video, I said that I thought that the used car market, especially Miatas, was going to start to level off and even pull back to prices that we're more used to in the past. A year later, here in 2022, boy, was I wrong. So why am I revisiting this video? Simply put, it's because I wanted to buy another Miata and the prices are absolutely astronomical right now. It's to the point where it got me thinking if a Miata is the answer to buy right now and add another vehicle to my collection, and I'll get into that at the end of this video. But simply put, I think the days of cheap Miatas are absolutely over. Before I get into why though, I want to show you some of the used Miatas in my area so you get a feel for what I'm talking about. To do this, let's go ahead and fire up Facebook Marketplace and see what we could find. Keep in mind that right now I am searching within 35 miles of central Connecticut, so there should be a lot of cars here. But if we go ahead and look, the amount of Miatas for sale in my area is actually not that many cars. So let's take a look what's available. Here we have a 91 for $8,000. This car has 116,000 miles, so it's not exactly brand new. And if we look through the pictures, it does look like a pretty nice Miata. This car is not what you would consider mint. It also looks to be a base model car with a cloth interior, nothing really fancy going on with it. And this car is listed for $8,000. It does say not a spot of rot. That's definitely important, especially if you're in a rust-prone area like I am. But $8,000 for this is priced very, very high. A car like this a few years ago would have been a $3,000 to $5,000 car. Again, I paid only $1,000 for my car, even though it did have rust and it did have high miles. Let's take a look and see what else we could find. Here we have a 2000 with 131K on it, and this car is listed at 10 grand. On top of it, they don't have very many pictures and it is an automatic transmission car. And looking through, there really aren't any other cars in my area that haven't been heavily modified. Now this is part of the reason that the prices are going up. People who have these cars are holding on to them because they realize that they're very valuable. For full effect, let's go ahead and do a 250 mile radius around me so you could see what's available. Alright, so here we have a Miata. This thing has 43,000 miles. It's a Laguna blue car by the looks of it with a black leather interior. I don't think that was a factory option. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this was converted to that color. And this car does look very nice, but it's also $12,500. You let me know down below if you think these cars are worth that, but it's to the point again where I'm on the fence. Here we have a 99, so this one's a NB for $6,900. This one's just under 100,000 miles. I still personally wouldn't pay quite that much for a car like this, but all things considered, this really isn't a bad deal. Here's another NB, $7,500 with 6,700 miles. Again, they're more than they used to be, but I think this is a relatively fair price for a car with lower miles that is very nice and clean. Now, I will say that NBs did not really go up in value at quite the same rate as NAs, but NBs are still going up in price. A lot of people like NAs better because they have pop-ups and they think they're really cool cars, and they are really cool cars, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I've had both, and I think that the NB is a better car and it is a much better value, especially in today's market. Hopefully the prices of NBs don't spike just because I said that. Anyway, here's another NA, 111,000 miles, $11,000. This one does come with a hardtop, so the hardtop's nice. This car looks pretty nice, but overall, Still quite expensive, but it is what it is. That's what the market is these days, and if you find good deals, they go very fast. Also, I found a few good deals and I messaged people literally within the hour, offered them up to $2,000 over their asking price, and I didn't get the cars. And that really shows how the market is going. There are people with Craigslist, Marketplace, and a bunch of different platforms that sit here all day refreshing those feeds trying to find deals on these cars. And even when a good deal comes up, so many people are contacting those buyers that they're realizing that they need to raise the price. Also, people like me and other people are willing to pay more than the asking price to get a car, and we're still not always even getting those cars. So now that's going to wrap up the average Miatas that you could go find on Marketplace and Craigslist at this time. Let's go take a look at some of the most expensive nearly stock Miatas so you could get a feel for those prices. Alright, so here we are on BringaTrailer.com. This is an auction site that generally has the best of the best, super nice, super low mile collector cars. Let's go ahead and type in Miata and see what we get. Alright, prepare to be amazed. Right now, there are two cars for auction on the site. One is a 26,000 mile 1990 that's currently up to $12,000, and the other is a 13,000 mile 1999 that's currently at $5,000. Now, I could almost guarantee that both of these cars are going to go much higher than they're currently at because they're such low mileage cars that people are going to pay big bucks for this. The other nice thing that BringaTrailer does is show you price history, so let's take a look at that. Now, I know there's a lot of data here, so it's hard to get a really good, really accurate trend, but if you look at the upper end of these cars, they are really starting to go up in value. Now, of course, there are a few data points here that you don't want to look at that are super modified cars, but you can go through and click through each one of these sales, see the photos of the cars, and see what they sold for. Let's take a look at a few of those cars now. The most recent auction at the time of filming this video is a 1991 that sold for $19,500. This is, of course, a very clean, probably one of the cleanest example Miatas around, and it only had 10,000 miles. But $19,500 is a ton of money for, at this point, a 31-year-old car. And that comes back to the question of, is it worth it? Simply put, Miatas are worth so much money because they bring so much value for what they are. When you look at it, they're still a simple, easy to work on, and still relatively affordable sports car. Yes, I call the Miata a sports car. They're rear-wheel drive, front-engine, super fun cars that bring a lot to the table in that price range. Also, the more years that go by, the more Miatas that get crashed, rusted out, and taken off the road permanently. A lot of these cars are heavily modified by people like me and other car enthusiasts, and that means that these cars are used hard and they're often abused. This leads to more crashes, more cars getting pulled off the road because people aren't maintaining them, people are letting them get ruined and not really doing what they should with these cars, and that's driving the price up. Also, I think that general interest in Miatas is still on the rise. That's because there are a lot of YouTube channels that are dedicated to Miatas, much like myself, but also tons of other YouTubers that love these cars, and that makes people like you guys watching want these cars more, and again, it drives the price up. It's crazy to say, but even at the ridiculous prices that a lot of people are asking for these Miatas, I still think that a Miata is the best answer. Personally, I'm still going to wait for a good deal to add another Miata to my collection, but with the prices that Miatas are selling at, I really don't think it's that crazy and that astronomical if you look at the value that you're getting in the car. Everything's expensive right now, Miatas are no different, and Miatas are still a great car for the money. And before we wrap up this video, let us know down below what year Miata you have and what year you bought it. Let us know if you think Miata prices are going to keep going through the roof or you think this is basically the top. With all that, don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you at the next one. Take care.